What's good, brothers? How is everybody feeling today?
What's up?
Feeling
Living,
good,
living.
man. Yes, sir.
We got an honored guest in here from the Big Homie Told Me show. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
Hey, man, go ahead and let the viewers know what you're doing over there with Big Homie Told Me.
Man, I go by the name of Jet Styles. Created the Big Homie Told Me show, and my whole thing is getting to speak to people that's bringing value to individuals and just spreading straight game. You know what I mean? From all industries, I've had a lot of people on, from all industries, so there's no limits.
Okay, I like that, man. So we over here at Braspective, man, we like to keep it real, man, and so we always reaching out to other people that's putting themselves on a map nationwide. You got a big following, you making moves across the U.S. with your platform, and we're honored to have you today, man. And today you one of the brothers, man. So we just gonna jump in and have some real conversations.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys having me on for sure.
No problem. Before we get going, man, I'm gonna do the check-in, man. How everybody feeling today? How's everybody?
Feeling good.
Jesla said he's feeling good. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it's just a nice day. Shoot, it's a good Sunday. A little breezy out here, but other than that, it's nice. So far, so good.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling good. I can't complain. I can't complain at all.
I know you feeling good. We seen some pictures of you on social media.
Who?
With the kids playing in the family pictures, man. It's all good. We love you though, brother.
Man, what pictures y'all talking about? Did I see these?
Yeah, you did, man. They family friendly photos, man.
Family friendly.
We don't want to get it. We don't want anybody getting the wrong idea. But today, man, it's a topic we've been.
Y'all out here got sneak dissing on me, man. Wait till we get done wrapping up on this.
Today, man, for the viewers, man, we gonna take a little twist on a different conversation, man. And I think it was important for us to go into this topic. And we're gonna talk about reality versus reality. And what we're talking about is reality TV, things that people see in a fantasy world, perception, stereotypes, the reality of what the world really is and how things really are compared to what people think it is based on what they see on TVs and things like that. So Tab, why don't you go ahead and let us know, man, what we're talking about today?
Man, when it comes to reality versus reality TV, I think we just have a lot of impacts in our culture and perceptions that get placed with that. Whether it be we talking about the TV shows that we have, right? Traditionally, a lot of our stable shows that grew up around that reality versus reality TV. It took off was, love and hip hop type platforms, basketball wife type platforms. We had a lot of people in our culture that came from reality TV that, did really well for themselves and, were influential in different areas. But at the same time, there were some negative and ripple effects that came from that and perceptions that came from that made people generalize us based on what they saw on TV. Sometimes it feels like we do have that limited interaction within our culture with other cultures, and it's easier to perceive that we move, walk, and talk a certain way based on what we're seeing out there. And that may go vice versa for other cultures too, right? I mean, when you watch cross-platform shows, even like Married at First Sight, where you have couples that are from all types of different backgrounds and origins and ethnicities, you see a lot of different things play out. But I just wanted to talk about some of that, how reality plays into the TV and the culture and how we actually move and working. So that's kind of where I was at with that one.
But real quick, before we go that way, though, when we're talking about media, TV, and all that kind of stuff, y'all got to remember, when they talk about stereotypes and stigmas, all that started with the minstrel shows back in the day. We just shucking and jiving, right? You see a black person on TV, what is it? He just shucking and jiving, or she just shucking and jiving. Yeah. Whatever it is, it wasn't. They wasn't putting the best image of us out there because they didn't want it to be out there, and it's still that way in a type of way. But it's pretty much what Sam's talking about. But it's a little tricky. But we'll elaborate.
Yeah, so that's what I want to get to today, and it's just kind of us tear through a couple of them things and how that's all associated to stuff. I think it's an important topic.
The crazy thing about it is the power of media, and what people sometimes don't realize is most of people's perception of a country, a place, a culture, of people that they're not exposed to personally in their own lives comes from TV. So if you're watching TV and you have these negative perceptions that TV is portraying of, maybe let's just talk about the minstrel shows or black face shows where we shucking and jiving, or what you have now with some of these reality TV shows, Basketball Wives, things of that nature, where they're not necessarily presenting blacks in good lights. They're kind of focusing on the entertainment aspects of it and not really showing these people and how they actually are. So a lot of times we're on TVs looking like fools.
Yes. I think that is convenient. I think that is convenient for people to see us on TV, portraying an image, whether it's acting in a movie or reality TV. And usually, like you said, they see us acting crazy, on these shows, these reality shows. But when you deal with someone that on the outside, from what I've realized, is like, they would rather look at you how they see black people on TV rather than how you are as a person. Even if you're a great person, Taft being law enforcement and things like that, if you're not in uniform, they're still looking at you like you're just another black dude. You know what I'm saying? So people would almost rather look at us, in a negative, facet. So it's kind of tough being black.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll even up you one. And I mean, we don't always go there and, always look at it like that. But if I'm not associated with law enforcement based on how I may carry myself and stuff, just because we keep it lit on here, I may be looked at as just another nigga, not just another black person or nothing like that, just another nigga. And that's kind of the things that, I kind of find that I want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Those perceptions and stuff like that. Don't associate me with your favorite reality TV star, your favorite rapper and stuff like that, because that's what I think of sometimes. It's like, oh, those associations are kind of like, they look at stuff like that and say, oh, okay, let me associate this to something that I see on TV that I relate to. Oh, that's my favorite person on this channel or platform. So let me associate his actions and things like that. No, I just want to be looked at as a black man. I don't want to be looked at in those lights, That's why we use that word delicately on this show, because it's not one that we always really want to associate with in our actions and our platform.
I mean, but at the end of the day, it's the entertainment that they want on TV. That's another thing. It's not like it's something that's spread wide. You see, it's only a certain amount of characters that are using over and over again in all these reality shows. You see the same people coming back from different reality shows and make a show work. So it really comes down to what entertainment they want to have out there. Because again, it's entertainment and those individual sells. So we keep on pushing the same kind of propaganda. I think
it's crazy because Big Homie told me, brought up an important topic, right? Where unless you're in your uniform, but that didn't work out for even Isaiah Jones in Virginia when the police ran up on him because he had a new SUV and treating him the way he was treated. And this man served 3 tours, in Afghanistan. Right. So he went above and beyond the service that those police officers were even doing, right? And they treated him just like he was just another nigga.
Yeah, absolutely. I noticed something from just creating my podcast, because I created it just over a year ago, about a year and a week, and just the fast growth has taught me a lot. I've learned a lot. When you're first starting out, people, kind of diminish what you're doing. And then once you start moving, you pick up traction, and then people start wanting to be involved and things like that. But let's take it from a bigger perspective, on the Braspective. Being black, what I mean? Being black and having Big Homie told me immediately, for the white people, they feel like, man, that's some gangster stuff. That's some, so I tried my hardest, to get white people on the show. But sometimes they're intimidated to get on the show because all they see is black people on the show, but they're seeing successful black people, but they still don't want to associate themselves with that, because it's like, okay, Big Homie, from what I know, it's just someone who's in the hood doing this, doing that. But that's why I'm trying to change the narrative. I got mayoral candidates, I got doctors, lawyers, police officers, military, anybody, So I just want to be able to let people know, like, look, we are a lot more than what you see on TV.
Right.
That's the hard part.
We're not even what you see on TV. We're not even what you see on TV, right? TV if for entertainment, that may be the entertainment aspect of us, loud and ratchet and all that, but we're just other people. And for me, it was important that and what I just said, they're treating it just like another N-word, or more so used negative, just because for some people that's how they look at you, right? So we have to be honest with how people are looking at us. And so when you look at people through the lens of negativity, you're going to treat them with a negative connotation. So that stuff is important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I was going down the same road as y'all in regards to it. It's definitely hard to break that. And we talked about this multiple times in multiple ways. Is when we're talking about reality versus reality TV, we mean a lot of representatives when you see it on TV or their Instagram or the social media. That ain't the same person that you meet. And it's the same thing with the minstrel show or whatever. When Denzel was the dude on Training Day, that ain't the same Denzel you're going to meet on wherever you see Denzel at. He won an Academy Award for that role, though, right? That was the role where he was like, Denzel been good for that long. And it's the first time he was ready to get him one when he turned into that kind of dude. But those are the things that we got to try to separate. I can dress the way I dress. I can wear my hat backwards. You can wear your hat forward. Mm-hmm. But when you talk to me, I can have an intellectual conversation with you. Or if you want to talk about this and the other, I can do all that kind of stuff with you. So have a conversation with me first. Get to know me first before you put me in a box.
And I think that was one of the ones that you hit on too when it comes to reality versus reality TV, like associated to fashion, right? I look at Black women who wear braids in their hair and things like that, and just the stereotypes or the pressure or the connotations or just the things that they have to kind of consider, whether it be around based on self-esteem and all types of things like that when they walk into their building with their braids, because of how much of a representation of like them being Afrocentric it is in that area, and how they, you got to kind of walk into that building with a certain level of confidence, or even in the back of your mind when you're getting them, you thinking, but damn, I got to go to work though and stuff like that. Like those are two things that you think about before when you walk in the building. I know I've walked in the building before with my Jordans on, and I'm thinking to myself like, and I've felt it too. I've seen the look kind of like, ooh, which route is he going today and stuff like that, So, I mean, I always think about things like that. It's like, why does it, it's this thing with culture has put this perception out there. So now when I rock like this, the reality TV is already set. Well, okay, these are the type of people to do it, the little babies and, the Marshans and things like that. So now if I, am on my off day and I'm on my Instagram or my whatever social media platform, and I got some gold teeth or fangs in my mouth or stuff like that, does it really have to be that I'm so much not fit or professionally fit, or I'm a perception of what you saw, or maybe that's just an extension of my personality or an expression of my personality, or just something I want to do. Don't associate it with what you saw on TV before. I don't make money like they make on TV. My primary job isn't to be on TV. So that doesn't mean that the things that I did were the same functions and reasons and why they did that.
If you look at any of the national stories that go on in the media in regards to any type of violent crime, shooting and things of that nature, when it comes to an African American, they usually try to find some kind of unfavorable picture, that maybe mischaracterize that person. They may show a father who works hard and, takes care of his family. They're not going to show a family picture of him. They're going to show that picture of him when he was 16, probably with baggy clothes, probably throwing up something that they assume is a gang sign, right? We're fraternity brothers, so they may catch us a picture throwing up this and thinking we're throwing up, a gang sign. So that's the problem is, when it comes to the community, our community, you see the negativity that the media portrays us in that light, opposed to when you see these school shooters or mass shooters that are Caucasian, you always see a peaceful picture of them smiling, right? Even the guy, I think it was Dylan Roof, who shot up the church. The police took him to Burger King before they took him, to lock him in. So they stopped and took the dude to Burger King. You know what I'm saying? So there's the situation where they constantly are portraying us negatively. And let's be honest, we're gonna keep it real. This is perspective. Sometimes we do things to portray ourselves negatively as well. But once they have that, they're gonna capture that and they're gonna save that for when they can use it against you.
You know they was waiting on Obama to do something. Hey, he just clean as cat. I didn't see it in a long time. I don't know how he held it down that long.
Yeah.
Until he put on a beige suit.
Hey, looking for something for that man. He had to clean the whole time. No scandals.
Wait, and then he put on a beige suit and it became national news. So or they try to say, oh, he's a Muslim. Just too many things. But the thing I also wanted to comment on when we talk about, and I think the aspect I was looking at when you say reality versus reality TV, and you said a lot of things that people are judging are coming from what they're seeing on TV. And I'm thinking about back in the day when we had a different world, and people had more perception of going to college because that's what they saw more. And that's kind of sad that a lot of what people do outside of their lives is contracted or connected to the TV. So sometimes I think some of these shows is like, look, this is what you got, how people are supposed to act and supposed to perceive you. So that's why some people do what they do, which is kind of scary.
But think about that though, A Different World was, of course, a spin-off of a Cosby Show, but I don't think there was ever been a TV show where you've seen black kids in college before, have you?
No, but Hill is a totally different representation of what Different World.
Different.
Exactly.
Totally different
Exactly.
Right. I mean, and yeah, Parrish said something too, or Dewan said something too that I was just thinking about. It's kind of like we do some of these stereotypes. I'm not saying, hey, don't treat us like this, because we're not all like this. Some of us do a damn good job of making it look like that's what we are for the culture and stuff like that. For instance, I think everybody goes through different types of relationship problems and different, ripples in their relationship. However, just because you going through a relationship problem, or I went through one, or somebody else went through one, that don't mean that all of us should be immediately associated with Stevie J. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you can't just immediately, like, everybody's relationships, I think at this point, we're all old enough to know that they're unique, right? Like, yeah, there may be the general category of what you doing is ain't shit behavior or fuckery type of behavior. But at the same time, you don't know what makes each one of these people individually tick. We didn't talk about post-traumatic stress, trauma from life that people have went through and stuff like that. All of those things have affected how people show up in relationships. However, somebody will look at your stuff and within black or non-black culture and be like, oh yeah, that's that Stevie J type behavior, or, oh, that person gets fiery when they get mad at something. They may throw something across the table like Evelyn. It's like, no, like, we have done a good job though of like associating these type of things with our own culture because of how some of us show up in the general public, and that's something else that we got to be mindful of.
So why do you? I want to pose a question. Why do you think that they portray us that way on TV? Like go deeper into that. Like, why do you think they do that and they still continue to do it and there's no blowback from, our community? We don't say anything and stand up and say, like, look, man, we're tired of being looked at this way or that way. Why is it that we're always looked at in a negative light? Why is it that? So why do you guys think that?
That's a confirmation bias.
That's why I started the conversation with, it's the entertainment that they want portrayed about us. There's so many other stories, and that's why I went back to that A Different World. When those shows was on, that was like, ooh, that entertainment is kind of positive. And then those shows went away, and now you brought up, there's these other different reality college shows that's completely different from Different World, and it just puts black people in a different light. And I think that's what the big picture is. It's only entertainment, and it's entertain those that the tomfoolery was built for. That's what I'm saying.
It's a confirmation bias, right? And so they want to believe that we are these things, these degenerates, these people who are not intellectually capable, who don't pay our taxes, who don't marry our wives, who have a bunch of baby mamas and don't take care of our children, and so on and so on and so on, right? And so what happens is when they see these things on TV, it's confirming their beliefs, and they don't watch other things to confirm that, to say, oh, to counter that. They're only going to watch the things to support that. They're only going to put out the negative information about what we're doing in the communities, right? They're only going to put that. When you see black people doing good things, they're not going to do that. Even think about, like, to a certain degree, the Black Lives Matter march, right? Those earlier protests, a lot of them by Black Lives Matter in general were peaceful, and they still have been peaceful. But then what they do, man, it's like y'all seen that what was that movie where they had 24 hours, they could just, The Purge, right? When you seen the Purge, the latest one, they showed when the thing wasn't working, the people wasn't killing people like they wanted to do. They sent people out there to get it going. Right? They sent people out there to agitate the crowd and mess stuff up. So for me, I always say, well, when we don't give them what they want, they're going to find a way to create it. So even if we're not doing it, they're going to find some type of way to generate that information to confirm what they want people to believe about us.
It's that, but then on top of that too, people are trying to find 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
Think about that.
There you go. You're right.
People want their bread. They want to get out whatever their situation they in. They're like, this is my chance. What was the thing? Who married Flavor Flav? Was that New York? And she just went. And took it to wherever she could take it to because it was her. It was her 15 minutes of fame. So she like, this is the only way I can get on. I'm gonna do my best to get on this type of way. And it's unfortunate, but some people feel like it's the same thing. We say it's gonna be rap or ball. It's the only way they feel like they can do it. And now the new thing is TV shows or reality shows and Instagram or TikTok. Yeah. So that's the way people feel like they can get on. It's the three things.
And it's don't do positive things on there. You got to put yourself out there. You got to be showing some type of skin, or you got to do something extra to get that nod of approval. It's don't get on there talking about have good diet. Here's a good workout plan. That's not getting followed.
And let me say this. So I recently interviewed Lord Jamar, brand Nubian legend, and he told me something. He was like, "Man, I like how you do your show and everything, but I noticed that you're real positive, and that's good. But let's do an experiment, right?" And this is coming from him. He said, "You know what? I want you to put out some negative content and see how much traffic you get, and then put out some positive some real positive, someone graduating or something like that, and see how much you get. You're going to notice that the world is attracted to violence and negativity, no matter what." And I say that to say, with the Big Homie Told Me show, I've reached out to some of the biggest stars, and I've actually communicated with them on the phone or through DM, and some people have said, "Man, I heard you used to be a CO," because I used to be a corrections officer for 4 years. But my thing is, you should be proud of an African American who comes from nowhere, who makes something out of himself, you know what I mean, and continue to do great things. But you'll go on another show, I won't say any names, and you'll talk about how much dope you sold, how many times you've been to jail, what your family member then sold, and you selling your soul on TV because they got 1 million followers, and I'm on the come up. It's like we got to do a better job of helping each other out and lifting each other up, and not just falling back, feeling like someone else's success is our failure.
But Big Homie, see, now you're starting a whole different conversation, because if you're a black man and you got a platform, right? Let's just say, for instance, I'm LeBron James, right? I wish. Yep. Let's just say I was LeBron James, right? I got Big Homie Told Me shows. I got black sports writers and commentators. I'm gonna go support their shows, right? I'm gonna use my fame to go and support their shows, good, bad, or indifferent, because the only way our community can grow is if we support each other. But when that happens, you don't see that. You see exclusive stories, breaking stories of these athletes being broken by some old white man. Every time, instead of giving that story to a Big Homie Told Me, right? Giving that interview to a Big Homie Told Me, right? Or to Jamel and
Carrie Champion.
Carrie Champion show. Right? People should be going to those shows, giving them the interviews. Big Homie, Braspective, giving us the interviews and opportunities to talk with people, instead of going to these already established people who only using their names and their platform to build their brand, instead of really pushing the agenda towards equity, equality, and things of that nature.
True. But like Jeff saying too. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think that is a part of reality, though. I think that's a part of reality, because the truth is, people in our community don't want to gravitate to you unless you hot coming from our community. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you're hot, if you're a rapper, you're gonna want to hop on the hottest rapper stuff who's hot in the community. You're not gonna just, if you're not gonna want to try to help someone bring themselves up and reach a level to where they can be successful as well. You know what I mean? And I think that, unfortunately, that's a part of our reality, which makes it harder. So now you see people online having to sell their bodies or, come up with false stories. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So it's just like, it's messed up. You know what I mean?
But that's kind of what I was saying, though. Everybody wants to be a rock star, right? Just kind of how Jeff was symboling that money. I think what it is that, for instance, let's just take us right now. If we've got hella content, the Big Homie Told Me show and Braspective, right?
Definitely.
But just like Kevin Samuels and a couple of these other people were saying, that one big negative clip that one clip that makes the whole ripple effect between the community happen, and the controversy and the conversation starts, that's when you get hot, right? Kevin Samuels said he'd been doing this thing for 5 years before he was into this. I mean, before he got hot, right? He got 5 seasons worth of it. I'll take a more positive person because maybe people don't really rock with Kevin Samuels or not. DeVal and his wife, they 4 seasons in on their podcast and they just now getting hot and stuff like that. DeVal said he used to film things 3-4 times a day and he wasn't getting his views. Then all of a sudden, a little couple of ripple effects happened. He made that comment about sex and monogamy and different things like that. Boom. All of his views pick up. All of his followers pick up overnight. I think what happens, though, for a majority of us is, and that was my point, is somebody comes in tomorrow and offers us a reality show. Not saying it would be us, but I think this is what happens to us. People feel that they can manage that. Like, oh, fuck it. I'm going to take the quick check. And you know what? We got a strong foundation. They ain't going to break us. They want to put these little fake stories out there. But you know what? We the click. We ain't letting nobody break that up. We got this under control. But slowly but surely, that does break people down, right? I mean, just look at it from a boy band type of aspect, right? Let's talk about our new additions and things like that, right? Yeah, they knew Bobby was a wild card the whole time they was dealing with him. But you start letting more money get involved and stuff like that. Now it's, yeah, you know, I remember when me and Dewan and them was sitting there doing this for free. But you know what? We got a platform now and they want to spin this little story. I know that we said we do it, but he's starting to act like it's true. You know what? And, you know, he over here, maybe he think he the boss because he the creator. Things like that start to slowly break us every time, right? That's the reality versus reality TV. Reality is we know what we stepped into this for. Reality TV is that slowly but surely we gonna kill the body and the head will fall.
Come on, man. Yes.
Well,
that crabs in the barrel. Someone just said it's crabs in the barrel mentality. You know what I mean? It really is that. You know, because you got 5 successful Black men right now doing something very positive, creating content, positive content. You know what I mean? And it'll take so long for our status to change. You know what I mean? For people to really buy in, our views to go up and things like that. Because they would rather not hear that from us. You know, they would rather hear that from someone else who doesn't look like us. You know what I mean? It's almost, I look at it like, why was it when Miley Cyrus decided to get on stage and twerking took off? You know what I mean? People been twerking for years. Women been twerking for years. Right or wrong. I mean, making videos and all type of stuff. I mean, I could use it. I'm just saying, like, when we do certain things, we don't get our just due for it. We almost have to jump out the window, hit 3 backflips, you know what I'm saying? Then jump back on the roof and hit 3 more backflips just to get noticed. When someone is half as talented or someone, you know, they get more love than what we get.
Definitely.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just, you know, I don't know if it's just our reality TV shows or not, but when I look at it, like we were talking about offline a little bit statistically, there's something about that needs to be said that has a true connection to the culture. You got 1,000 different, and not really 1,000, but several different housewives of whatever city they come on. And the hottest one, the most watched one, is going to be Atlanta. Do they deserve it? Do I think they're the most entertaining? Do I like what they got going on? I think that a lot of those Black women on that show are entrepreneurs and they deserve their flowers and they just do. But ratings wise, are they what makes that platform? I mean, their platform in general just shoot off so much more than the others, right? Like, I think that they're all women kind of living in these same and different, you know, different circumstances. But for some reason, this Atlanta platform is way hotter than everybody else. Should it be? Probably. But why are the numbers so large? The gap between how much more they're viewed than the other ones are viewed. That's my question.
Because we control cool. We control what's cool, man. You know,
and I was going to say, cool. And I was going to add that a lot of times with these reality shows too, the people that's having those live experience are such a low percentage of individuals that's really doing any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So when you got like basketball wise, there's not that many wives that are living that life. Even the wives that do have other husbands that play basketball probably aren't doing half of those things that are going on. So again, it goes back to you're seeing what needs to be portrayed so that money can be generated. It's so much falsehood in that stuff. And I think people really, really pay attention to that thing. And it's really happening when it's only like a small percentage that actually experience any of those things.
Well, let me introduce this question then, because I do think we watch those shows and I just, just not like those shows, TV in general. What I always tell clients that come into my office is they, 32, 29 years old, and I'm depressed. I can't figure out where I need to be in my life. I see so many people around me who are successful. And I think they just get that perception because they're watching Instagram, right? They see those same people on Instagram who driving Ferraris and making money, right? You got all these doctor shows. You got Grey's Anatomy. They was like 25 years old, doctors, right? You know what I'm saying, on Grey's Anatomy. Yeah. So people are watching these and they're starting to think that there should be a lot further in their lives than what they actually are, not understanding that, yes, statistically, there are a small percentage of people who got their whole life together at 25, 26 and making six figures and all that. But that's few and far between. The average American doesn't start their career until the age of 35 years old. Right. So you have to be able to separate that sometimes. But for me, what I want to know is, how does reality TV affect relationships? Because when you talk about Basketball Wives and you talk about, Atlanta Wives and all that stuff, Love and Hip Hop, you see that, sometimes it causes people to have this perception about how relationships should be. I was watching, I believe it was Atlanta Housewives, and the dude, I forgot the girl. She's an actress though, but her husband had disappeared for 3 days and went to the beach.
Oh, Drew Sandor. Yeah, Drew Sandor.
Yeah, he disappeared and went to the beach. Right, dude was gone, and she asked him, "Where you at? Where you at? Where you at?" She's communicating with the dude, trying to figure out. She calm about it, and the whole time he's not communicating with his wife about where he was because he felt like he was taking some time to himself. Man, look, if we're talking about reality, let you do that to any other black woman. Let you be gone for 3 days, not answering your phone, not communicating, and think you can just come back home and think it's all good. I think that sometimes give people a false perception of what's really going on, because on these reality shows, men are constantly cheating, and they keep getting it back together. Stevie J, Kurt, all these dudes keep cheating, and their wives keep accepting it back, and that's not always the case.
Bruh, we went to dinner. The fellas, we get together once a month. Me, DeWan, and some of the other guys out here in the DFW, and we were just talking about, hey, what time is it? All right, I'm gonna get back, because we stayed out one time. Somebody car got towed or something. We was out to about 4. Everybody wives calling each other. I said, who wife is up at 4? They like, is DeWan home yet? Did Jeff get home yet? Imagine being gone for 3 days, bro.
Yes. We couldn't even be gone. We couldn't even be gone past 3.
Hey, I don't feel comfortable being outside
3 hours.
Bro, I ain't felt like this since I was a kid, but I don't never feel comfortable being outside after 10ish, not unless y'all. It start really feeling like, am I gonna get a punishment? It's not to say that it's bad, I gotta do certain things like that, but it's just a certain level of that inner relationship spider sense that you have, where even though you outside, you don't need a real clock to tell you. You got that internal clock to be like, damn, I should probably get back, because at some point in time, I'm gonna put myself in a bad spot. But yeah, you're right. You see these, these dudes in Atlanta living, and why you didn't pick up? I was at the strip club till 4 or 5 in the morning. I was at the studio till 4 or 5 in the morning. That's not reality.
Maybe it is for a rapper. I'm just saying it. I don't work a 9 to 5, but I work a 9 to 5. But that 5 came, she was like, where is this man at? They called, but she didn't call me. She called everybody else.
Hey, my wife was up waiting on me. When I walked in the house, I went straight into the bathroom, and my wife met me in the bathroom.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
You went straight to the bathroom?
I went straight to the bathroom, bro. My wife met me in the bathroom. It was like 5:45 a.m. All of us. It was 6, 7 of us. All of us late. Wives and communicating everything. So it's not what it is, man. You can't disrespect your partner in that way. Now you can communicate like, look, babe, we about to go out eat. We're gonna be out a little late, cool. But you can't just disappear and think it's cool. So I think to a certain degree, it causes for sometimes people to feel like, oh man, well look at Stevie J, look at Kurt, look what look what they going, and they feel like dudes feel like they can get away with stuff, and then it makes women to feel like, oh well, I'm supposed to act this way. It's okay for me to act this way in public. It's okay for me to not, really do nothing but expect a lot. It puts these false perceptions in people's minds about how things should be and what relationships look like.
But that's the part I was going to say too, is that that relationship, and for lack of a better term, that relationship punishment. Like, don't decide what crimes are fitting and what punishments are fitting for the crimes based on what you out here seeing on TV. Because yeah, we are talking about disrespecting things like that happen in relationships, or turbulence that happens. But let's also just be real that people do encounter those things, right? The infidelities, the arguments and stuff like that. I think they should be entitled to their own way of working that out, right? I don't think social media should decide, well, because not social media, but because I've been watching this on reality TV, what he did or what she did looks like what I saw on reality TV. So I should get to respond to like this because that's how I saw it on TV. It's kind of like somebody teaching you bad parenting and relationship tools to be successful when they're not really successful, right? Like, you may go through something with your partner and stuff like that. However y'all are going to go through that and how that's going to get fixed is really up to y'all. Like, social media and reality TV shouldn't have been like, you seen that episode of so-and-so last night? Man, that girl is stupid. Or man, that dude is dumb. Like, some people do encounter these things in their relationship and they get stronger and they work out of them and they get better about them. However, I think when you put that little bit of ingredient of reality TV in it, it does make it kind of cloudy for people. Now people feel they got to respond a certain way based on what they've seen on TV because you taking them down that same road. I don't necessarily feel like that's always the case, though.
So, see, but what happens is that the narrative becomes so normal. So the things that we're talking about, the cheating and the keep on coming back, and this is how you're supposed to act if you and somebody don't agree on something. You argue it out, or you throw a drink or something. And the next thing you know, over and over and over and over and over and over again, people start to be like, that's what you're supposed to do in a relationship.
Yeah,
it's a norm.
Yep.
And that's just the norm of, how we act. And I think that's where a lot of people start to then go, well, that's how people do it on TV. We can live that lifestyle too. And I'm going to go back to, again, it's just the entertainment. It sells. If Jocelyn being crazy on TV over and over again sells, but then you got, young ladies who are like, well, shoot, if that's how you're supposed to be a bad bitch, let's carry that to your Instagram. And then next thing you know, let me make that my lifestyle. Yeah. And it's not a real lifestyle. And that's why I said in the beginning, only a certain percentage of people can get away with that. And those are people who seen not everybody's doing that.
Let's be honest. You don't look like Jocelyn.
And we were just talking about that just a second ago. We were just talking about how many of those housewives are actually married. Now it's called housewives, but you got women who aren't even married on there, and they've been on there for seasons and they still aren't married. So you got people who aren't really in tune, who might catch an episode their first time, who just because of the name it says housewives of wherever, but these women aren't even married. You know what I'm saying? So how can you call them housewives? How can you call them housewives? Let me finish it. How can you call them housewives and but they're not even wives at all? You're portraying this image and you're saying to little girls or whomever is watching, these are housewives of wherever they're from, but they're not even wives at all. So, it's just false reality for sure.
Yeah. I think it deters people from wanting to be in relationships too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you do got a lot of these young ladies and young men out here, like, you could keep the whole relationship shit because all they've known is they've seen it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's factor in, you may come from a broken home already, or, your parents are co-parenting and stuff like that. Then, they lived in their time. But if you're looking at it for the future, all you got in front of you is on reality TV. These relationships, going this type of way. We ain't even touched on Married at First Sight yet. That's a whole nother thing. But before we even get to that, the only thing that I was thinking about when y'all was saying this is, out of all the times we done been to restaurants and bars and settings, and I've seen Black women out, and even I like mob wives, Italian women out, women of all different cultures and races. I've never really seen a group of men or women start throwing drinks and yelling across a table. You know what I'm saying? But I can watch reality TV on a weekly basis and find at least 2 to 3 shows that's going to create that type of turbulence in a group setting. I've never been outside and seen no shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Never have either.
And I remember seeing some women all of a sudden out of the middle of nowhere start throwing drinks across the table at each other and stuff like that. I've never once seen no dudes, you know what I'm saying, standing on a table or chasing a dude across the table or none of that stuff like that. So to me, I'm like, man, that shit don't really add up to where I be at outside, and I feel like I be in diverse places.
So, and another thing I want to add, even with those Married at First Sights and all those shows, and I don't know if it's just how it's written, because I think it is, but who are the couples that end up going through the most drama? You know, what's the couple that keeps on looking the craziest? Married at First Sight. That black dude got that he got that girl looking crazy.
He got that girl. That girl got herself looking crazy too. They both look at each other.
It's always, let's get the black couple to be the one that's being the craziest. I'm thinking a lot of this stuff is written, and let's get the black couple to play out.
Even on DC, even on the DC.
Now y'all gotta let Jeff go because Jeff introduced everybody to the show.
I watched them all. The craziest one was the white dude that was a basketball player overseas. He never stayed at home. He was gone for days at a time, bro. He was never there. And his wife just calling, crying. He ain't wearing his ring. He was doing some ratchet stuff too, bro. And not just him. Even this season, it's a different kind of view, but it's negative in my point of view. They got to do it on there. He a rich dude. He a pilot, military pilot. They got a hangar. They got cars and planes and shit, right? He talked to her like, that's his daughter. He ain't talk to like his wife. He talked to her like, you gonna do what I say or you ain't gonna be with me no more. It's over. You know what I'm saying?
Well, thank you for thank you for pointing that out. But only scenes I always see, the scenes that I always see is the black dude doing something dumb.
True.
That's the reason why I was like, let me see what this is.
About christening them. Now maybe it's because I got a predominantly more. Well, I mean, maybe I have more black people on my social media than I have other people, but more people are talking about what Kristen is doing, and I didn't watch the show until then. All I hear about is what Chris doing, what Kristen did. I'm so sick of it.
You gotta watch. You gotta watch DC. You gotta watch the DC where they had the two black. It was 5 couples that had the 2 black dudes. Brandon seemed to have some kind of depression, anxiety, mental health problems, and then the other dude was a habitual liar, right? Mm-hmm. So he was lying the whole time. Everybody about he a principal and he got all this stuff, right? And then you had the white dude who was trying to be a model. He never moved into the house with the chick. He told the chick, well, we just got to build some type of attract. Dude was crazy. Like, he was gaslighting the hell out of that girl. So you do see it happening across ethnicity, across culture, race, and things of that nature. But to me, the problem with that show is, which it shows people, no matter what research is done to find out who's a good match for you, if you don't know how to be your true, authentic, genuine self, if you don't come into something with true good intentions, then it's never going to work. It's not going to work, because if in these relationships, they're supposed to work. It's a match, right? They got a show on Netflix called One. You ever seen that one where they do the science to match the people and all that? Yeah. It's none of it really works unless people come in with their true intentions, because that's where relationships fail. It's failed because people don't know how to be in relationships. They watch too much TV to give them ideas of relationships. They don't listen to Braspective or the Big Homie Told Me show or all these other shows that's going to give people real advice. They only listen to fake stuff, and then they're not being their true selves, man. Because Married at First Sight is just crazy,
right? Yeah. And all that, and we're circling back to this. People are portraying what they see on TV as what's supposed to happen. Because I bet you, if you ask a lot of people, "Hey, describe me what's romance," they're going to describe scenes from something they saw on some made-up show, and this is how it became romantic. But I bet you if you sit somebody aside and be like, hey, really tell me what romance look like for you. That nobody has that pure concept. It's always pulled from something they may have perceived on one of these shows. Or show me how a good relationship works. Well, and on this show, how the relationship went. So I think that's where these TV shows influence a lot of things. And to piggyback off what you're saying, Dewan, and I'm going to take a little bit further. With the Marriage at First Sight, and I'm not saying I've been perfect and my marriage worked out, but it creates a negative look on how marriages are too. Like the marriage that there's no sound way that a marriage is just structured. There's always this drama that has to be involved in a marriage, where it's like just not how marriages are built. But they're making it seem like, okay, when you have somebody who's cheating on you and got babies with other people, it's okay to keep on working on it. It's all right, because that's how the marriage works. So let me stop there. But yeah, there's a lot of falsehood in what people start to describe after, if you ask them, hey, what is your perception of that? It's push it a little further, Parrish. What you said is
people think that it's supposed to be like that. Push it a little bit further. I know you got more on that. Go ahead and go.
No, I mean, no, I'm just saying, when you ask somebody, hey, and I'm gonna just use romance because I hear that a lot in relationships. He's not very romantic. Well, what's romantic? Well, when you got 100 dozen roses and you're showing up, in the fancy car and you're taking me out on these extravagant dinners, that's what's romance. So where did you get that idea? Like, have you ever experienced that before yourself? No. So how is that considered romance? Have you ever had somebody really cater to you? Well, that's not. I did, but it didn't look like that. Well, then what are we talking about? You're having.
I believe,
bro. It's individualized. My romance is gonna look different than your romance. What?
Right, but what I'm saying is those reality TV sometimes.
Oh yeah, reality TV will be the general base.
Yeah,
I think that the reality TV shows and just to add social media in there have ruined relationships tremendously over the years. Mm-hmm. And I can just think of one example. I mean, just think of now how easy it is for a woman to just get over a guy. You know what I mean? Now, if a woman has an argument with her boyfriend or husband or fiance, whomever, she can post a picture of herself and have 1,000 guys in her DMs from all walks of life. Now, you have to think about that on a psychological level. Now, but not like women. Women have it a lot easier. So you got to think about that a little bit, right? Like, let's take it further. Now she's going through it with her dude. He's made her mad. He did something. Now she got all these options. Yes. Now her judgment is clouded. Now she sees this guy who has a mansion, these Benzes, these Beamers, and all of that. Now her judgment is like, why am I with this guy who may not have that? You know what I mean? So now she calls this guy. And for the record, that hasn't happened to me. I've been happily married. I've been with my wife for 16 years, since high school. But I'm just saying, man, social media and reality TV, man, is so detrimental just to the world. And it's not going anywhere, but we have to be conscious of it when you're in a relationship, a marriage, or whatever, that those type of things can play a role in a relationship, period.
The problem is, I think that we do live in a culture, a society where everybody's looking for the next best. They're always looking to upgrade, exactly. Right? In some of these TV shows where, you see this person constantly, upgrading their houses, their cars, people think that's real and it's not, but people are trying to upgrade their relationships where how are you trying to, here's the thing, so many people want a better relationship, but they're not trying to make the relationship they're currently in better. So what's going to be different when a new man come in? Because you're going to still act the way you act. And what's the difference when a new girl come in? Because you can still act the way you act. That brings on the problems. Unless you're really going into the relationship and saying, hey, in my previous relationship, these are the things that I did wrong. Stop telling me what that other person did wrong. Yeah. Because they're gone. Yeah. We can't do nothing about that other person. What we can do is about you. What did you do wrong? So in your next relationship, you have a better understanding of how to not let that happen. So let's just be real. Let's say, for instance, you found yourself where you were constantly cheated on, and that's what didn't work. All right, let's make sure we create boundaries for the next relationship for ourselves. Yeah. So we're going to respect ourselves better. We have to evaluate it from ourselves. And as you guys talked about romance, like, all right, cool. I can buy you a 100 roses, 100 dozen roses. I can do that like once every blue moon, like once a year. You know what I'm saying? I can't be doing that like every other weekend. We can't be going to eat crustaceans every weekend. You know what I'm saying?
Birkin bags. What does say? Big Birkin bags. Whole five figures.
Big Birkin bags.
Figures. Be buying you random Birkin bags and
no. You get whole 5 or 6 figures of what? I don't have these figures. No, I don't. I think I be getting to it, but 5, 6, I don't have it. I don't. If you let me break it down in installments, then maybe for like 4 weeks straight you can post it. But I'm gonna need a 2-year installment plan for you to take one picture. Mm-hmm. I don't have it. But Tiffany made a good point though. Tiffany said, I tune in to be stupid for a while and unwind from a hectic day. The reason I find that important too is that like, okay, we don't want to, we're not blasting all of these different reality TV shows without also understanding that sometimes you do need to have that level of entertainment and drama and suspense.
Absolutely.
Right? I think that I mean, my wife would call it like if she watches it like once a week or something like that, she'd be like, "Oh, today was my day where I watched Ratchet TV or something like that." Right? But that's toppled on the fact that when I'm coming in or out from work and stuff like that, she on Clubhouse listening to motivational things, real estate, building, wealth, family, all types of stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm saying there's a healthy balance in it all. It's when you are out here just like Monday nights is love and hip hop, Wednesday nights is basketball wives, this night is that. Okay, you can record all of them in a week, but you know what I'm saying? Make a day for that so that your week ain't impacted every day that you get up with that being your last shows you watch. And that, I mean, like I try to do that. I got to a point where I realized we was watching too much reality TV, and I was like, no, I'm going straight to scripted shows. I ain't watching none of this shit if it's not scripted, because at least I know, my mind is already set in that motion that this was scripted, even though reality TV is their goal is to push that out. We may say that this is scripted for reality TV, but Kirk and Rashida is really having babies on the side. You know what I'm saying? That ain't scripted. You don't get to erase this little, little fucking, this child is here now. Like, that's not an erasable thing. Where in a script, I could write you off a show and you never come back.
And to keep it real, I don't want to make it seem like we're picking on the basketball wives and hip hop wives and Atlanta wives and all that, because Candy did a good job of putting people on, giving people opportunities in production, not just the people that you see, but she tried to make sure that Black production companies were getting opportunities to work on different shows. So we have seen people get opportunities. So it's not necessarily knocking their hustle, because we happy to see that we are getting opportunities to earn some money and things of that nature. What I'm saying is we can't only consume that, right? Like Tab said, you have to break some of that stuff up. Now, for a lot of people that I know that watch it same way, hey, I'm watching it just because I need to unwind today. It's funny. It's not the news. It's not seeing people die or bombed or killed, the stock market crash. So they're trying to have something to keep them a balance. But for some people, that's all they watch. And you got to break that up. Watch some documentaries. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, go and listen to some podcasts and things of that nature. Read a book. Hell.
I was just about to give Tad some advice to read a book, because I don't think he read one since 2003.
I'm in school. I'm fucking read now.
Oh, okay, I'm just saying. I didn't know if you read something recently. But no.
That shit. See, reality TV teacher, you supposed to sneak this and kick your brother down. How about
No, I was gonna say, but the part about that is we are of the age, and our wives and significant others are of the age to be able to decipher what's real and what's fake. Yeah, now, we're talking about young people, and they see Instagram and they do all that, and they say like, "Damn, she got 1 million followers. She getting paid to shake her ass for this product."
Right,
we do it too, and they don't have the ability to compartmentalize what that is. This is like, that's just TV. They like, nah, this ain't just TV. This is a way to make some money. How I can be seen. So like we got a comment right here: drama, sex, all that kind of stuff sells, and ignorant sells too, as we know from the minstrel shows and all the other stuff that they're talking about before. But it's hard for younger people to decipher that. And that's the thing we got to be careful about. Of course, our wives are of the age they can do that. But young people, they don't know. A girl that don't have no parents, nobody, 13, 14, get into that kind of lifestyle. Right. She going to be on the streets working. You know what I'm saying?
The prime example is Breakfast Club, too. We love our different shows and podcasts and things like that. Let the Breakfast Club post something about that education or, mindful Mondays or, wealthy Wednesdays and stuff like that, opposed to somebody being on there that's going to talk that right.
You can't even say, "Was you finished? Are we done?"
Yeah. Birdman was on there for 5 seconds. Said, "You know what? All trio.
Y'all gonna respect my name. Y'all gonna respect my name.
Respect on my name." Boom. Most but if you out there teaching you how to go get some real estate deals done with no money in your pocket.
Right. But see, you know, out of all this, what we're saying too is that these shows are not made, and I'm gonna keep on going by accident. Like, they go through a pilot, they go through a survey. Some people are sitting there watching this stuff, and somebody's asking them a question: "Would you tune in next week if this and this happened?" These shows do not just exist out of nowhere, and so when we're talking about what Jeff was just sharing, the certain ages of people who actually engage and understand what's being said. You got to think that they got a target audience. There's a target audience that likes to watch this show over and over again, and they're going to tap into that target audience and create that genre for them to be successful. So that's a thing that you got to consider. This is not done by accident. Like, none of this is done it's done on purpose. You're asked to watch these shows because the message that they're sending out is working for somebody.
Yeah,
The money.
Yo, so the crazy thing about it is, right? So people got to remember it's entertainment. It's entertainment. It's there to entertain you, and they have to be able to make that separation. Now we're older, and so we can. But like you guys said, the danger is the younger folk, right? Who may not can make that separation. For people who actually think that's what's going on and think that's what's happening out there, it can be dangerous. Now, you know, again, not knocking what people watch, but too much of anything, right? I always tell people, if all you read all day, every day is how to build wealth books, that's not good either. You got to build it up. Even though building wealth is a good thing, you got to break it up and you got to consume other material, right? Because this we talk about building wealth, and to a certain degree, I respect that and I appreciate that, and I think it's important in our community, especially because we don't seem to be getting wealth any other way unless we build it for ourselves. Yeah. But I do think sometimes that mindset can be detrimental to the foundation of the Black family. If we spending so much time away from our home because we're constantly chasing the dollar, constantly building wealth, we're not solidifying those important relationships with our children, our partners, that need to happen in order for us to have that support, that security that we're looking for by building wealth.
Yeah,
you're gonna build this wealth, and then you're not gonna have a relationship with your kids because you was never there. You gonna have to split it in a divorce because you was never there. So obviously, let's build our families first. Let's build that foundation, and then go build everything else.
No, that's true. I look at comp time versus overtime, like at work right now, right? Last year, when I was working a lot of overtime, I was taking it in cash. Mm-hmm. I was going 11 days, 12 days, just banging it out, not coming home, working overnight shifts. So I'm just gone, right? Come in, sleep. I'm not doing much. Now, I may go work overtime, but I take that in comp, man, because comp buys me time back. I get to put the time I put in, I get that at time and a half instead of the cash. I'm not going to maybe make the amount of money I made last year. However, I'm going to spend more time at home with my wife. I'm going to spend more time at home with my son. I'm going to spend more time at home with my daughter. And like, that's the important thing to me, right? Like, I look at all of that money that I made last year and I'm like, didn't I do anything significant with it that made me feel like it was worth all of that time away? I don't necessarily remember what all it went to. I know one thing, though, that comp time, though, I do see the wealth in that. You know what I'm saying? Whether it just be sitting at home playing video games or being able to go walk at Lake Merritt or do whatever it is that we do, I do find more enjoyment in being at home. So if I got to go out there and bust my ass for an extra day and a half, best believe I'm taking 4 days to be with the family, right? So whatever it costs me, a time and a half is what I'm getting back in the time that I want to spend with my family now. I ain't took none of it in cash this year. None of it.
Definitely good points. I mean, that's the balance that we all talking about in general in life too. When you're talking about work-life balance, or you're talking about balancing out being an intellectual and a well-rounded person, or a person that has a broad worldview, all of that is how you balance it. You know, you can't just be a student in the books all day, but you don't know how to deal with people. That doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go to a job interview, you can be the smartest guy, but how do you not be able to talk? You know how to do it in a book or read a book or take a test, but if you don't have the capacity or the ability to speak or be well-rounded, you won't get that job. So that's the thing we got to figure out with this reality versus reality TV. Like Pierce said, we know a lot of it is scripted. We know a lot of it is for the reasons that the networks are putting it on, because it's sales. Like they always say, sex sales or drama sales or whatever sales. But we have to have the ability to say, like, this isn't real. I have a good time. Watch it, and then I'll turn it off from my brain. I don't worry about it anymore. But for a younger person, they're infatuated by it. They're infatuated by the dope boy. They're infatuated by the girl with the fat ass. They're infatuated by the dude with the 100 chains or the Maserati or the whatever kind of thing it is. They're infatuated by that. So we got to be
infatuated by it all too, but it ain't real. I mean, it's not.
I mean, you know, it's rented, or them diamonds ain't real. I mean,
it's just that's not real life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna wake up every day, you know what I'm saying, out of my sleep with, 3-4 chains around my neck. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to wake up and just be able to live that lifestyle all the time. So yeah, I'm infatuated with all of those things too, because it's nice to see the luxuries of life. However, they're luxuries because they're not things that happen on a day in and day out basis. They're things that happen at a rate in life or a period in life in which you can do this because it's a luxury. It's a break from the normal day in and day out grunt work that you have to do to be a person. You know, you work hard to get to them things. So I don't know. That's why I'm infatuated by it. It's like, damn, that's nice. So all this time and money I'm putting into it, maybe I can go do that for a couple of days, and just count my blessings and look up at the sky and be like, damn, we made it. We able to do this every once in a while. But it's a luxury.
Right.
Okay. All right, brothers. Well, I think for the most part, when we have these type of conversations, it's always important for people to understand that, it is our perspectives. And, I think part of the struggle is understanding that in life, being able to view things from different perspectives, right? When you see things, you should be able to see both sides of the coin, heads and tails, this side or that side. And so the more we're well-rounded and we're not just focusing on, hey, watching these things, because those TV shows aren't reality. Reality is the conversations that you have with that person at your church, the person in your community, and they give you a perspective. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the information that you get for them, that you have to take and implement that into your life. But the more information you have, the better. Before we jump off, man, y'all got anything, y'all want to say to the people? Big homie told me you want to go ahead and give the people some final thoughts.
Man, look, man, I feel like, first off, I want to say thank you guys for having me on. No doubt about it. I want to say that it's very important to have conversations like this. You know what I mean? For, us as a community, it's important that we not only talk in circles like this, but also bring this light to the world and let people know that there are people actually out here that are trying to make a difference. It may get clouded by the negativity, but we have to just continue to push our what we got going on and push and keep our journey moving forward. And I'll say this, one thing that and it's very relative to this, is that these youngsters, they want to commit these crimes. They want to do this and do that. But I've worked in the prison system, and I've seen these 18-year-old, 19-year-olds come through those gates, and they don't know what they got coming to them. But as soon as they get through them gates, that's when real reality sets in. And reality is you're going to be here for however many years you're going to be here. And once those lights cuts off, a CO like myself or someone else is not always around. And prison is a real tough place. There's no such thing as just doing your time. There is no such thing as just doing your time. So if you're thinking that you're just going to you can do this on the street, do that, and you're going to go to prison, you got homies in there. No. Think twice, man. Think before you make these decisions, because if you think, this is a whole nother topic, but if you think that the police treat people wrong on the street, imagine how it is behind those walls when you have no cameras, there's no one there to speak up for you, no one there to vouch for you, and there's not very many of this inside of there, so you better think twice, man, and I'm only going to tell you what I know.
Facts. But let the people know, man, where they can find you and when they can tune in to the shows when you drop new episodes, man. Because I hope that, hey, if y'all listening to us, if y'all support Braspective, make sure y'all go on there and support the Big Homie Told Me show, man, because he's doing great things. He has a great platform, and as you can see, he fit in right with the brothers, man. So if you like us, you'll love him.
Yeah.
Thanks, Fab. Yes, they can find me, man. Big Homie Told Me show on Instagram. Big Homie Told Me show on YouTube. The way that I drop my shows, though, my interviews and things like that, I'll give it to you guys as an exclusive. I make movies. I don't just drop the interview. I make the movies, and I do things like that. But I do drop clips on my pages and things like that. But yeah, follow me and tune in, man. I got the bro Jacoby on there. You know what I'm saying? He gonna drop real soon. But look, we got a lot going on, and I appreciate y'all genuinely for having me on.
That's what's up.
Thanks for being on.
Definitely. Yeah, just conclude, man. I mean, when we're talking about reality versus reality TV, it's one of the things of what's real to you, because you living in this space, though, right? You ain't living through that phone. You ain't living through that TV. You ain't living through any of that. You got to really walk out there in yourself and your skin and be the person you're supposed to be. So find your purpose and walk in that. Don't walk in somebody else's or what you saw or thought you saw or whatever. Walk in your purpose and do what you're supposed to do. And last but not least, of course, man, subscribe to the Braspective pages on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, I'll just say, thanks for tuning in. Continue to log in, follow, like, please share both this show as well as the Big Homie Told Me show. We appreciate everybody coming and joining us. And the thing I like to say is it's harder being somebody else. It's easier being yourself, right? So with these reality versus reality TV shows, that's their life. That's not the walk that we all have. So it's easier just to focus, like Jeff was saying, on being who you are and your authentic self than worry about what somebody else got going on. It's easier to stay in your lane. Being in other people's lanes just makes your life a lot harder.
Yeah. And I mean, like they said, like, share, subscribe. That's one thing that if you're watching this show through and through, all the way through, please take this episode for other episodes we did. If y'all can do one thing for us today, repost it on your social media, the Big Homie Told Me Show, Braspective, and send the link to people saying, hey, check these dudes out. You know, we want to grow. We got faithful people that tune in every week. Don, Uncle G, Tiffany, G Mommy, Monique, the list goes on and on and on. All of these people that tune in every week. You guys can take this information, share it, and just send it to somebody, anybody that you think are people that don't really pay attention to this type of platform, because we do want to grow. And we're not out here doing this for the bread. You know what I'm saying? Right. We're going to be here every week. I mean, every other week, day in and day out, doing what we're doing because we don't have that financial obligation responsibility to do it. Just to quote Drake, because I like to quote what people say, not necessarily how they live. You know it's real when you are who you think you are, you know? And that's the purpose that we're talking about today on the reality TV show. And if you're watching Franklin and Snowfall in season 4, you understand we in season 1 and this is how we rocking. We building this shit, like he told Leon, brick by brick. And we every week
brick by brick.
Trying to go. He told that boy Leon in the car, that's where we at right now in this phase. We built
brick
this
by
shit.
brick.
Brick by brick. And that's it. We ain't letting nobody stop it. We ain't stopping for nothing. That's how it's going down, man. So tune in because we're gonna be here.
Yep. We're gonna be here, man. To piggyback on my brother Jacoby, you know, for us, this is our reality. You know, this perspective started because people don't know, man. We got a chat. I can go on here right now and let me look at our Marco Polo. See how many messages we got. You know,
for damn near
we got 112 messages, right? That's us talking as brothers, as black men, just communicating back and forth from everything, man. We talk about relationships, family, politics. We talk about everything, you know what I'm saying? And so for us, we felt like maybe some of those conversations that we had, we needed to be able to take them, you know, to the streets. And so that's where Braspective started. So we're always going to be true and authentic. We're always going to keep it real, and we're going to always bring real people on here. That's why we got Big Homie Told Me on here, because, you know, we try to get people to understand you can be yourself and you can be successful. You can go out. I can sit in my therapy office, you know, with my clients, my little Tom Ford suit on with my nice watch or something like that, and then go home and put on the J's and a Nike jumpsuit, you know, with the hat to the back. You can be professional and still be yourself. You don't have to walk around with this mask portraying something that you're not in order to be successful. More than likely, you're going to get where you're trying to get because you're being yourself and you're being genuine. So like us, subscribe. Braspective, man, we on YouTube. Our YouTube numbers are growing. Thank you for those who are watching us on YouTube. Continue to like and subscribe. For us as people that's watching us on Facebook, like and subscribe, man. We're starting to bring some smaller conversations to Instagram on our Braspective page at Instagram. So like and subscribe on that as well. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we're going to have our brother Alex Baker on here. He's going to talk about kind of financial literacy and kind of building wealth through the stock market and trading and things of that nature. So we'll be here 2 weeks from now, 5 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time for Braspective. Again, go follow the Big Homie Told Me. Check him out, and we'll catch you guys in 2 weeks.
Hey, you weren't time for it. Let me hold something.
Who is?
You weren't time for it. Let me hold something, bro. I mean,
I got a little something up in there, man. You know?
We put in big Birkin bags with 5, 6. Let me use that. Let me borrow that money, put it in my wife's purse. We're gonna take a picture for reality TV, and then we're gonna give
it back to you later.
But see, we not doing those for girlfriends. We not. Oops, hold on. We're not doing that for girlfriends. We're doing that for wives, right? You know, you take care of your wife, she take care of you. You know, that's the way it go. That's the circle of marriage life. Talking about the circle of life, the circle of marriage. I take care of you, you take care of me, and vice versa. So we're gonna keep it pushing. But you guys be straight, be smooth. Thank you for the viewers. We'll catch you guys next go around.
Peace out.